Hello and welcome to another video. To buy or not to buy, this time starring the Huawei P8. Is the P8 a worthy contender for a place in your palms? Let's find out. Amazingly, you'll be pleasantly surprised when you slide off the cover that the P8 comes boxed in. You're greeted with the side of the phone at first glance. I've gone deaf from the screams of quality that the unboxing has been letting out. The box is nice, but how about the phone? The nice and glossy metal and glass back with only the most minimal amount of markings, just its nicely laser engraved Huawei logo and small details along the bottom. And also that European safety sticker was already stuck on the phone, but I'm sure removing it won't take too much. Striping across the bottom and the top are the antenna gates that are quite nicely done. They don't make it seem too pronounced or too in the way of the design. Around the entire edge of the P8 is the beautifully chamfered edges that make it look sharp, but nice enough to hold in the hand, allowing a little bit more grip on the sides. An intelligent audio processor and a microphone on the other side. We also have a micro USB port. Unfortunately, there is not quick or wireless charging on the P8, but nevertheless it still manages to charge in just a few hours anyways. Here along the top we have the standard 3.5mm headphone jack, a noise cancelling microphone, but no IR blaster to be seen up here at all. Not complaining here, but it may be a turn off for some who really love to control their TVs and other household objects from your phone. Now onto the front of the P8, we have a standard set of components up here, a proximity sensor, an ambient light sensor for your auto adjusting needs, the speaker grill for calls, and a notification LED, and also an 8MP camera that shoots 1080p images and videos. And also glaring at us is the 5.2-inch Full HD 1080p display at a nice and crisp 424 ppi, which takes its place as one of the best smartphone displays I've personally used. Pretty high packed density of pixels there. It can get pretty bright, so that's a plus for outdoor visibility, and also the brightness can go just dark enough for it to be comfortable to be used at night. Flipping over to the back of the phone, finishing up the unibody, we have a nice glass and metal construction, but mostly metal with a nice and smooth matte finish, which is a pleasure to touch. Now for the gem of the rear, the optically stabilized 13MP camera, which is a stellar performer in both day scenarios and low light photography. Thankfully, there is not 1mm of protrusion from the camera optics, which is fantastic that they designed a two-tone a dual LED flash designed to make flash photography look more natural, which is well welcomed, even though I never try to take photos with flash, mainly due to past experiences with those sorts of things. NFC is also present behind the glass layer at the top, and there's something not present on the back, or rather anywhere on this phone, is a fingerprint reader. Now onto the software side of things. Let's just say I'm not too much of a fan of Huawei's Emotion UI, which it calls, and pretty much adds a lot more function and changes the feel of Android pretty much completely, and could be for the good or the worse, depending on how you look at it. This may sound long, but I hope it won't sound useful, and some that I won't. There is definitely an iOS feel on Emotion UI, from the theme of the settings menu, home screens, pull down search menu, notification shade, lock screen quick toggles, and how the camera launch shortcut pivots open. My biggest gripe with EMUI is how some of the notifications look like on top of what its blurred background would look like. eBay notifications don't draw properly onto its space, it looks squished, and the subject of Gmail notifications are black, and it's hard to see on dark backgrounds. The quick settings in the notification area are customizable, as well as all the other OEM skins. But EMUI won't allow you to hide toggles, or not display ones that you don't want. In fact, you can only rearrange the icons around in order. So the only other thing I've noticed about this is that the 2-finger pull down shortcut doesn't seem to work on this. On the flip side, Emotion UI is definitely a powerhouse when it comes to per app controls. In the settings menu you can set what apps are allowed to use what kind of network, either Wi-Fi or mobile data, or none. A notification manager for each app to control what methods of notifications are shown, and there are 3 options: status bar, banners, which are like the overhead notifications, and lock screen notifications. Protected apps are also there for preventing them being automatically killed by the phone or yourself. Huawei has also given us some smart assistants, in which that's what they call it. Speech awareness is something like a voice assistant that is meant to be completely hands-free, similar to what Motorola has on their hand, but nowhere near as polished. Motion control for gestures, like accepting phone calls by raising up to your ear and flipping the phone on its face will silence incoming calls. Minor adjustments to the navigation bar are also available with different arrangement options for the back and multitasking buttons, as well as the optional open notification panel, which can only be configured to be on the far right. What's most impressive out of these is the one-hand use support, which is great for people with smaller hands for sure. Swiping towards your palm on the navigation bar will scale the screen to cater for that thumb, whether it be your left hand or right hand. In addition to all these features, the suspend button puts the main functions of the phone into a hovering dot for easy access. One other thing I'd like to point out is that there is a very nice theme for the lock screen which changes the lock screen wallpaper with images on a rotation. It looks quite nice and gives a refreshing feel to the phone every time you look at it, and unlock your phone. Unfortunately, this won't work if you have a security screen set on, which is kind of a bummer, but it may be a limitation of Android. My final thing would be that the camera app is absolutely covered from head to toe with different modes. A time-lapse function that works remarkably well, the beauty mode, panorama, and light painting. Out of all of these different modes, light painting will have to be the one that stands out from the rest. So, all in all, if you're looking for a well-built smartphone with an awesome camera and a pleasing metal finish, the P8 should be well in your sights. It's currently only available on Vodafone here in Australia, but you can purchase the P8 outright from JB Hi-Fi and Harvey Norman for around $700. Again, the extent of Huawei's customizations to Android makes it unappealing to me and definitely won't be everyone's cup of tea. With all this in mind, this is To Buy or Not to Buy with the Huawei P8, and thanks for watching, and be sure to subscribe for more.